Welcome, folks, to the online CPABC how-to series, How to Apply to the CPA Program, hosted today, May 27th, 2022. Before we start the actual event, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge and respectfully acknowledge the importance of the land on which we each call home, wherever that might be. And I'd like to acknowledge the traditional territories of the Coast Salish peoples, the Squamish, the Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations, on whose traditional territories that the physical CPABC office is located. We do this land acknowledgement to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and to improving our own understanding of local Indigenous peoples. Please join me in a moment of reflection now. Thank you for reflecting with me. Some housekeeping items. So while we start the event with a brief, very short formal presentation, all guests are entered in mute with their videos off. However, later on in the event, when we enter our question and answer breakout rooms, all guests will have the ability to have their video on and also unmute themselves when you're in your breakout room. I will have more instructions and details for everyone in the next few slides. So in our time together, we're going to start off with a quick poll to get to know who is our audience who are joining us online today. I'm going to provide a very brief overview of the admission requirements to enter the CPA program. Next, we'll take a look at find your applicant type. So when a person applies for a CPA assessment with us, you're actually applying based on your applicant type. Now, a lot of individuals might not know, I don't know what my applicant type is, or you might read the definitions on our website and feel, well, I fall under 3 of these categories. How do I choose one? The last 30 minutes of our time together will be the Q&A breakout rooms, where audience will have the opportunity to ask their questions live to CPA WSB and CPABC staff. At 12:55, we will have our closing, our wrap up, and I have one new exciting resource for all audience members in how you can continue the conversation and connect with our staff to help ensure you have a smooth assessment process, making sure you get all the documents and all your questions answered. So hold tight with us until 1 p.m. to get that quick update. Now, I'd like to start with a poll, getting to know you. So I'm going to ask my colleague Jing if you can please release the poll, and I will ask the audience members to please answer the 2 questions. So just select the answer that best describes you. You'll have to scroll to see the question number 2. The first question is, which of the following best describes your current status? This is a single choice. So just pick the choice that is most relevant and reflective of you right now. The second question, please select one response. I have Canadian education only, or I have international education only, so that's non-Canadian, or I have both international and Canadian education. So we'll just give the audience a moment to answer these questions. This helps our staff to be able to navigate the questions that you will be asking us in the Q&A breakout rooms. So we have about 78% have answered this question. I'm going to wait just a few more seconds to get a few more audience members an opportunity to answer our poll. And I'm going to end the poll and share the results. So for the first question, which best describes your current status, we have 52% of audience who are joining us today that are current post-secondary students, followed by 22% are working professionals with an international accounting designation, 13% is a working professional, 9% are recent graduate from a post-secondary institution, and we have 4% as other. For question 2, we have 43% have Canadian education, 35% have international education, and we have 22% that have a blend of both Canadian and international education. Thank you, audience members, for participating in our poll. Now, a very high-level overview and a reminder of what are the admission requirements to enter our CPA program. Now, in order for a person to know exactly how much of our admission requirements that they've met, they've satisfied, the person is required to apply for a CPA assessment. Sometimes we call it a CPA transcript assessment. Sometimes we call it a CPA education assessment. We'll just call it a CPA assessment. So for general applicants, regular applicants, our admission requirement is that a person has already graduated with a degree. A Canadian or international degree is recognized, and the concentration in your degree can be in anything. There is no age limit or time limit on when you graduated with your degree. The second admission requirement is a completion of 14 prerequisite courses. Sometimes we call them preparatory courses, sometimes we call them prerequisite courses, but specifically, what are these 14 courses? Simply said, they're just accounting and finance related courses. Now, good news for individuals, if you've completed any accounting or finance related courses from your previous education, college, university, or higher, we are actually allowed to give you a course exemption if we see you've completed an equivalent course within a certain time limit ago and also within a certain grade. Now, going back to the degree, what exactly are we looking for in the degree requirement? We are looking that individuals have completed at least a degree or degrees equivalent to total 120 course credits. We must be a person of good character and reputation. This is a self-declaration that individuals would fill out, and we have information on our good character requirement for more details. Now, there is another stream where a person would be applying for CPA assessment with us. So persons that have an international professional accounting designation, internationally designated accountants, you may be eligible to apply under a different assessment process, a different application pathway. This is a listing of the international professional accounting bodies that CPA Canada has a MRA, RMA, or MOU with. The bodies that are listed in the blue text are the bodies that we have this reciprocity agreement with. Now, if you are a professionally designated accountant, and you see my professional body does not have this reciprocity, this formal agreement with CPA Canada, how do I apply? If you are an active member in good standing, that is listed on this website called International Federation of Accountants, IFAC, and your professional body is listed as a member, this means you would qualify to apply for CPA assessment as an IFAC member. So this would still provide you with an advanced standing, an advanced assessment upon entry to the CPA program. Now, what is your applicant type? So how do we find our applicant type? As you might have seen on the CPA WSB website, we have 4 main applicant types and other. Applicant type 1 refers to people that have an international designation. Now, again, depending on the name and the country of your international designation, this may mean that you qualify to apply to CPA under the MRA or RMA route, or the MOU route, or the IFAC member route. Applicant type 2. Applicant type 2 is a person who is holding an international degree. Applicant type 3 is a Canadian degree holder. Now, Canadian degree holders might be someone who have just a Canadian degree, or they might be attending a Canadian post-secondary institution under the accredited program, or you might be attending a Canadian post-secondary institution and you might be a current co-op student. Applicant type 4. This is an individual who has no degree, but they have at least 8 years of relevant experience. This means the person may qualify to apply in a role under mature status. Now, applicant type 5, which we call other types, readmission to CPA-WSB. This refers to individuals who perhaps were before enrolled in the CPA program but quit, and they want to reapply to re-enroll into the program. Another other applicant type refers to transferring to CPA-WSB. So for a person who perhaps is a candidate enrolled in the CPA Professional Education Program with CPA Ontario, CPA Quebec, or CPA Atlantic, that's the Maritime Provinces, and that candidate is moving or has now moved to British Columbia, this means we are transferring your candidate file or student file directly to CPA-WSB. You continue your studies as regular. Now, let's take a little bit of a closer look at these 5 applicant types now. Now, under applicant type 1 and 2, this refers to persons that are internationally educated, whether they are holding an international designation or an international degree. Now, I've circled 2 specific boxes under these 2 types, IFAC members and international degree holders. Now, these 2 specific audience members under these types, as part of your document checklist, when you apply for a CPA assessment, you will be required to also provide proof of a Canadian third-party degree report result. Now, I'm going to pass the mic over to Winston Sim from CPA-WSB to share with us a bit what is a Canadian third-party degree report, what is the purpose of getting one, and what are the different types, and what do you recommend that we use to apply for our CPA assessment. Winston, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Fiona. So for CPA-WSB, for international applicants with a degree where we verify the Canadian degree equivalency, it's recommended that you get the West Canada third-party report. The name of the report is called the West ICAP, the International Credential Advantage Package. And that third-party report basically includes, as well as a copy of Western verifies the international transcripts, and they include a copy of those verified international transcripts along with the degree verification report. So if you get a West ICAP report, it's not required to submit an additional copy of your transcripts because the official verified transcripts are included in a copy of that report. We would just accept that one document for both the degree verification and the international transcripts for the courses to be assessed. We would accept Canadian third-party degree reports outside of West as long as they're part of the Alliance of Credential Evaluation Services of Canada. So some of the examples would be ICES and IQAS are some of the other common ones there. Now, if we receive the official third-party verification report from those other organizations outside of West, that only contains the degree verification. So if you're looking to submit your international transcripts, you would be required to request your post-secondary institution to also submit a copy of your official transcripts, in addition to that third-party report to CPA-WSB for evaluation if you like those courses to be assessed there. So yeah, so basically that's what we require for the degree verification report. More information, you have more specific questions than that, when the breakout rooms, you can always feel free to ask myself or Sheila that question, and we can provide a little bit more insight or information on those specific questions. But yeah, that's basically the third-party degree report in a nutshell, and I'll pass off to Sheila to continue on with the presentation.
Thank you, Winston. Now, applicant type 3, moving right along, applicant type 3 refers to a person who is holding a degree from a Canadian post-secondary institution. So this is Canadian degree holders, any major, any concentration. These are individuals that are enrolled in a Canadian post-secondary institution's CPA accredited program. This is also relating to persons who are enrolled in a Canadian post-secondary institution and they're a current co-op or summer student. So now I'm going to pass the mic over to CPAWSB Carrie or Kim to share a few tips and highlights on this applicant type 3. Carrie, the mic is yours.
Oh, it's actually Kim. Thank you, Sheila.
Kim?
Thank you. One tip we have is regarding your transcripts. To submit your transcripts, you can contact your Canadian Post-Secondary Institute and arrange for them to either email your official transcripts to us or have them mail official sealed transcripts directly to CPAWSB. Either option is acceptable, so that's good. And also new to us that we're excited is MyCreds. CPAWSB is now a MyCreds receiving organization. Applicants can send us their official Canadian college or university transcripts via the MyCreds portal. Documents issued through the MyCreds platform are considered official, which is really good. And for more information on these applicant types, you can visit Carrie and I in our breakout room. And back to you, Sheila.
Thank you, Kim. Applicant type 4 and other. So applicant type 4 refers to individuals who do not have a degree, but they have at least 8 years relevant work experience in accounting and finance. So what is relevant work experience? So generally, very generally speaking, you can think of this as intermediate and senior level accounting related work experience, a blend of that. Of course, a formal assessment of your relevant accounting work experience will be done when you apply under this pathway. Now, if a person is accepted under this pathway, what that means is we'll take that 8 years relevant work experience in accounting and finance to take place of our degree requirement. The person accepted under mature status still has to complete those 14 prerequisite courses. However, if that person is accepted under mature status with us, they will have access to enroll in any of those 14 prerequisite courses directly with CPAWSB as CPAWSB preparatory courses. Now, other applicant types, as I already mentioned, are for people that have quit the CPA program and they want to re-enroll to continue and do it. So this is called a readmission. And another other applicant type is someone who is currently enrolled in the CPA program and they're now moving to British Columbia. So what we're doing is we're simply transferring their file over to us in Western Canada. For more details about applicant type 4 and other, please visit my breakout room, which is the Winston and Sheila breakout room. We will have more details about what are these breakout rooms momentarily. So this is a very high level overview of all the applicant types. Now, sometimes it may feel very confusing to self-determine, well, what is my applicant type? I want to make sure I'm applying under the direct type because I want to ensure I get the results of my assessment in a timely manner. I don't want any delays for myself. Sometimes a person may be concerned as to, well, I have an international degree, but I also have a Canadian degree. So am I applicant type 2 or 3? Another example is a person may have completed partial of their international professional accounting designations program. Do I apply under applicant type 1 or applicant type 2? So this is part of the reason why we have these Q&A breakout rooms. We're hoping to be able to answer those questions that you might not be able to find any answers directly from our websites. So now let's introduce what are we going to do in these Q&A breakout rooms. So for the audience, all audience members, you will have the option to choose which Q&A breakout room you wish to enter and exit at any time. During the Q&A breakout room portion, we have exactly 30 minutes total. When you are in the breakout room, when we are entering the last 5 minutes of this Q&A portion, you will see a pop-up message in both the breakout rooms that will say 5-minute countdown. When we get to the last 1 minute in the breakout room portion, you will see a pop-up message in your breakout room that says 1-minute countdown. When that 1-minute time is up, my colleague Jing will automatically move all audience, all staff back into the main hall where we will close the event, and I will share that one last very helpful resource available to audience members so that you can continue this conversation with us. Now, when audience members are in their breakout rooms, you are encouraged to turn your video on. You will have that capability to do so when we enter the breakout room portion. Audience members are encouraged to unmute themselves to ask their questions to the staff in that room, or if you feel more comfortable, feel free to type your questions into the chat box as well. For audience members, as we have quite a few people logged in with us all together, please limit your question to 1 or 2 questions at a time, and just please be mindful to allow other people in the room the opportunity to also ask their questions to the staff. Now, what will CPABC, CPAWSB staff do in these breakout rooms? We will be verbally answering your questions, and we will also be sharing some tips and best practices based on the questions you ask us on how to ensure a very smooth assessment process for yourself. So any of those gray questions that or concerns that you might be thinking about or a little bit concerned or worried about that you can't find answers or clarity on our website, this is your time to ask us in the breakout rooms. Now, we have a total of 2 breakout rooms. Room Carrie and Kim, this is for persons who are Canadian degree holders. This is for persons who are attending a Canadian post-secondary institution like a college or university's CPA accredited program, and also for current co-op students at a Canadian post-secondary institution. You are to enter the room Carrie and Kim. Now, in breakout room Winston and Sheila, this is for persons who have an international designation. This is for individuals who have an international degree. This is for individuals that may fall under mature status and also other. So if you're moving from another province and you want to continue your studies on the CPA program, you enter the Winston and Sheila room, or if you previously quit the CPA program and you want to get started again, please enter the Winston and Sheila room. And friendly reminder to audience, you are welcome to enter and exit either room at any time. Again, people might fall under both these different room questions and categories. So you do have that freedom and flexibility to do so. So now I'll ask Jing to please release the option for breakout rooms. And audience, this is your time to select the breakout room you would like to join. Please enter your room now. Hall. I hope you had some engaging conversations, questions and answers in your breakout room. I know we definitely did in the Winston and Sheila room. Hope it was the same experience for the Carrie and Kim room. So the last resource I want to share with everyone is CPAWSB is hosting live online Q&A sessions. Every Tuesday, live drop-in, 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I believe it's open for 1 hour. So my colleague Jing has inserted into the chat this link. Please save it into your browser so that you can continue the conversation and the questions with the CPAWSB admission advisors for yourself to ensure a smooth process. For now, I'd like to thank everyone for participating in our very first CPABC how-to series. A thank you to my guest speakers from CPAWSB. On the admission advising team, we have Carrie and Kim. In the assessments team, we have Winston. Behind the scenes, big thank you to my colleague Jing Zong. And last but not least, big thank you to you, our audience members. We host these events for you. We hope we were able to provide a little bit more clarity as you continue with your next steps forward. We have an online Career Connect e-newsletter. If you have not signed up already, you can just take your cell phone, scan the QR code. This is a free online e-newsletter. We email out to you once every 2 months. It gives you up-to-date information on upcoming events, tips on how to succeed in the CPA program, and how to connect with your CPA community. So for now, we will close the event. Thank you everyone for your participation. We hope to connect with you at a future CPABC event again. Thank you and bye for now.